My phone screen casts an eerie, bluish glow across my face at 2:17 a.m., the cold light making the shadows of my apartment feel deeper, sharper. I squint against the barrage of text messages flooding in, their urgent pings slicing through the silence of my otherwise dark Chicago sanctuary. May, please call us. It's urgent, May, where are you? This is an emergency. Call now. My hands tremble as I scroll through the increasingly frantic pleas from my parents. The contrast between my meticulously organized condo clean lines, soft lighting, furniture chosen like brushstrokes on a canvas and the chaos unraveling on my phone screen feels jarring, even surreal. I've worked too hard to build this life, this fortress away from their drama. And then it appears, a news alert bearing Tyler's mugshot. My stomach plummets. My golden boy brother stares back at me with bloodshot eyes and that familiar, infuriating half-smirk, the same smirk that always worked on our parents, the one that whispered, "I'll be saved, no matter what I've done." My phone vibrates violently against my palm. I answer before I can convince myself not to. May, please, you have to help him. Mom's voice breaks through, high-pitched and panicked, trembling like a wire pulled too tight. What's happening? I ask, though a sick certainty is already coiling inside me. Dad's voice cuts in, rough and low, as if he snatched the phone mid-sentence. Tyler's been arrested. They're saying he stole millions from investors. It's all lies, of course. A misunderstanding. I stand, moving to the window, Chicago's glittering skyline stretching out like a field of cold stars. What exactly is he charged with? Wire fraud. Embezzlement. They're claiming $2.5 million. His voice trembles in a way I've never heard before. The FBI was involved, May. You're a lawyer. You can fix this. Mom sobs faintly in the background. I'm a corporate finance attorney, not a criminal defense lawyer, I say, pressing my forehead against the cool glass. But you know people, Dad insists. You have connections. This is your brother we're talking about. My brother. The same brother they moved heaven and earth for while I scraped by. The memory rises unbidden 6 months ago, standing in this same spot, phone pressed to my ear, voice steady despite my desperation. The insurance won't cover all the water damage, I'd explained. I need somewhere to stay while they repair the condo. Just a loan until the claim processes. $12,000 would cover temporary housing. Mom's voice had been cool, detached. We'd love to help, but we just can't right now. You understand. And later, her parting shot, if you had focused on being a wife instead of a lawyer, you wouldn't be dealing with this alone. Caleb would have handled it. As if my ex-husband's affair with my colleague had been my punishment for ambition. I move to my laptop and open Facebook. The evidence stares back at my photos of Mom and Dad in Florida with Tyler, time-stamped 2 days after they told me they couldn't help. Their smiling faces on a chartered fishing boat. The caption, celebrating Tyler's new business venture. The $60,000 they gave him for his same bar now at the center of his fraud scheme. I close the laptop with a soft click. For 33 years I've watched them drop everything for Tyler while I stood in the shadows. The state piano competition they missed for his baseball game. My law school graduation they left early because Tyler had a situation. Every achievement dismissed. Every need minimized. May, are you still there? Dad's voice slices through my thoughts. I pace my apartment, attorney brain calculating. Wire fraud. $2.5 million. Federal charges. Potential sentences. I'll come tomorrow, I hear myself say. Oh, thank God. Mom breathes out like she's been underwater. We knew you'd help. Tyler always said you'd come through if things got bad. The rage bubbles up, hot and surprising in its intensity. They haven't asked about my life, my work, whether I can even leave. Just the assumption I'll drop everything again for the golden sun. I haven't said I'll help yet, I clarify, my voice cool. I said I'll come. We'll discuss options when I get there. That's all I can promise right now. I end the call before they can protest. Dawn breaks as I close my suitcase, my face set with resolve. The woman staring back at me in the mirror looks different still me, but harder somehow, her eyes holding a glint I've never seen before. I've spent my life trying to earn a fraction of the love they gave Tyler. No more. I'll go to Hartford, but this time it will be on my terms. If they want my help, they'll have to face some uncomfortable truths, starting with the fact that their golden son isn't just tarnished, he's criminal. And I'm done being the afterthought. The next morning, my childhood home in Hartford looms before me like a museum dedicated to Tyler Evans. I stand frozen in the entryway, surrounded by a gallery of his life baseball trophies gleaming from every shelf, photos chronicling his rise from chubby-cheeked toddler to handsome young entrepreneur. Conspicuously absent? Any sign I ever existed. May, thank God you're here. Mom rushes toward me, arms outstretched, but stops short of an embrace. Her eyes are red-rimmed, makeup-free. Dad hovers behind her, looking a decade older than the last time I saw him. I set my suitcase down with a deliberate thud. Where are the case documents? In the dining room, Dad says. But first, we need to tell you what we've done. The dining room table holds the answer papers spread across its oak surface like a crime scene. Bank statements. Court filings. A property deed with a bright yellow post-it note, for Tyler's bail. You put up the house? My voice sounds distant even to me. Mom wrings her hands. $600,000. The judge set bail this morning. Jesus Christ. I drop into a chair, scanning the documents with growing disbelief. Wire transfers. Shell companies. Investor lists. The money trail is painfully obvious. Your brother made some poor decisions, Dad says. But he's not a criminal. I hold up a bank statement. This shows systematic fraud over 18 months. That's not a poor decision. That's a felony. He was desperate, Mom whispers. His business was failing. A notation catches my eye: a transfer from my parents' account to Tyler's bar 4 months ago. Not the $60,000 I'd known about. An additional $45,000. You knew. My head snaps up. You knew something was wrong with his finances months ago. Their guilty glances confirm everything. I push back from the table and walk to the living room, drawn by muscle memory to the mantel. My law school graduation photo is missing from its usual spot. In its place sits a framed article about Tyler's bar opening. We needed to make room for newer photos, Mom says softly, appearing behind me. My phone buzzes. Lucas. I step onto the front porch for privacy. How bad is it? He asks, his voice a balm after hours of family tension. They used their house for bail. They knew about his financial problems months ago and said nothing. And apparently, I've been erased from the family history. I'm sorry, May. His voice carries the weight of understanding without pity. Remember your boundaries. You don't owe them a rescue. I know. I watch a neighbor walking a dog across the street, the normalcy feeling almost alien. How's your surgery schedule? Booked solid. But I can fly out this weekend if you need me. Unlike my parents, Lucas never makes me ask twice. I'll let you know. Love you. Love you too. Stay strong. I make another call. Victoria Chin, my mentor at the firm. Her advice is characteristically direct: don't represent him. Recommend a criminal attorney. Keep professional distance. Back inside, I find my parents huddled at the kitchen counter, whispering. They straighten when they see me, like guilty teenagers. The prosecutor called, Dad says. Tyler's first hearing is Tuesday. If Tyler violates bail conditions, you lose the house, I say, leaning against the doorframe. You understand that? Mom nods miserably. We had no choice. What about your retirement savings? Dad looks away. Most of it went to his previous ventures. The magnitude of their sacrifice for Tyler crashes over decades of favoritism, leaving them vulnerable to his manipulation. I think of my own careful financial planning, the emergency fund I built after they refused to help me. The irony burns. My phone chimes with a text from the county prosecutor's office confirming tomorrow's jail visit. I stand taller, chin raised. I've made some decisions. Their faces lift with hope so naked it's almost painful. I'll recommend a good criminal defense attorney. I won't give you money. And we all, including Tyler, will attend family therapy. Mom's expression crumples. After everything we've done for you. What exactly have you done for me that compares to what you've done for Tyler? The question hangs in the air like smoke. Dad's face flushes with anger, then drains to resignation. We don't have much choice, do we? You always have choices. You've just made bad ones. I turn toward the stairs. I need to prepare for tomorrow's jail visit. May, Dad calls after me. He's still your brother. I pause but don't turn around. Yes, he is. And that's the only reason I'm here. In my childhood bedroom, preserved like a time capsule from high school, I spread my notes across the twin bed. The prosecutorial strategy is clear. The evidence substantial. The best outcome for Tyler will be a plea deal, yet even that will still mean prison time. I close my notepad and stare at the ceiling, the very same ceiling I used to gaze at as a teenager while plotting my escape from Tyler's shadow. The anger I've carried all these decades has hardened, refined into something colder, sharper, and strangely clean. Tomorrow, I will face my golden brother in the tarnished reality he has created for himself, and for the first time in our lives, I will be the one holding all the cards. The next day, after meeting with the prosecutor, I drive to the county jail to see him. The visiting room assaults my senses before I even sit down. The walls are a dull institutional beige, marred with decades of scuffs and stains of mysterious origin. Overhead, the fluorescent lights hum with relentless persistence, casting a sickly pallor over everyone in the room, even the guards, who look ghostly under the harsh glow. I shift uneasily on the metal chair, its coldness seeping through my skirt despite the lingering September heat outside. At the far end of the visitation row, a heavy security door clatters open, the sound reverberating like a hammer blow through the cavernous space, mingling with the distant shouts of inmates and the jingle of keys in constant motion. A correctional officer gestures toward me with a blank, unreadable face. Visitor for Evans, he calls out, his voice flat, drained of all color. I straighten my back, settling into my familiar courtroom posture, shoulders square, chin level, face carefully composed. In front of me sits a file I know by heart. Bank statements, forged documents, letters of complaint from investors. My fingers tremble against the manila folder before I force them still. Then Tyler steps into view. For a moment, I barely recognize him. The orange jumpsuit hangs loose on his frame, shrinking him in ways I never thought possible. His usually styled hair now lies flat and greasy against his forehead, his jaw shadowed with rough stubble. Yet as he approaches, his old smirk resurfaces, that same infuriating expression he wore at 16 when he was caught stealing Dad's car, when he dropped out of college, when he used my credit card number to gamble online. He slides into the seat across from me. The plexiglass separating us is scratched so deeply it warps his face, making him look both familiar and distorted. His eyes, bloodshot but still burning with that same cocky glint, meet mine. So, big sister lawyer finally shows up, he drawls, leaning back like this is a casual coffee meeting instead of a jailhouse visitation. Took you long enough. I let the silence hang for a moment, then deliberately open the folder. The officer watches us from the corner with professional detachment. You look terrible, I say at last, my voice flat. Tyler snorts. Not all of us get to sleep in our $1,000 sheets in our fancy Chicago condos. He leans forward, narrowing his eyes. You've got it all, don't you? Career. Money. A home that didn't flood last year. What more do you want? The jab lands. I feel heat rise in my cheeks but keep my face composed, the same mask I wear in court. Let's talk about your situation, I say, tapping the folder. Wire fraud. Embezzlement. $2.5 million missing from investor accounts. I slide a paper toward the glass. Including $850,000 from the Hendersons' retirement fund. You remember them, right? Mom and Dad's neighbors for 20 years. The people who brought casseroles when Mom had her hip surgery. For the first time, his smirk falters. It's a misunderstanding, he mutters. Is it? I flip to another page. Because these records show systematic transfers from your accounts to offshore holdings. And these another page turn show withdrawals tied to your Vegas trips. His face darkens. You've been talking to the prosecutor. Someone had to, I answer evenly. Mom and Dad were too busy mortgaging their house for your bail to notice what you'd actually done. The smirk disappears completely. His expression sharpens into something bitter. You always were so perfect, weren't you? Never made a mistake. Never needed anything. I laugh, the sound harsh in the heavy air. That's what they told you? That I never needed anything? They gave you everything. Harvard Law School. Connections. Stop. My voice cuts like glass. I worked 2 jobs through undergrad. I took out $200,000 in loans for Harvard. Those connections? I built them myself, while you were burning through your 3rd failed business with their money. For the first time, doubt flickers in his eyes. They said. I know what they said. My voice is steady, though anger pulses beneath it. They told you I was fine on my own while they paid your rent, your car, even that bar you used to run your little scheme. His eyes dart toward the guard, then back to me. His voice drops. You have to help me, May. You know people. You can make this go away. I slide another paper toward him. I already talked to the prosecutor. Plea deal. 18 months federal time, reduced for good behavior. 3 years supervised release. 6 months house arrest after prison. Full restitution. His eyes widen, the practiced charm giving way to genuine shock. You have? He swallows. 18 months? I can't. It's that or 8 to 10 years at trial, I interrupt, closing the folder with finality. The evidence is overwhelming, Tyler. Even Mom and Dad understand that now. Desperation creeps into his voice. Remember when we were kids? When I covered for you sneaking out to that concert junior year? You owe me. I almost laugh at the absurdity. I was covering for you. You were the one sneaking out. I stayed home and told Mom and Dad you were asleep. His words stumble. Well, what about when? Stop. My hand rises, sharp and final. This isn't about childhood favors. This is about the $2.5 million you stole from people who trusted you, including family friends. For the first time, I see something real in his eyes. Not arrogance, not calculation, but fear. His voice drops to a whisper. Mom and Dad will lose everything because of me. The admission, so raw, should have moved me once. Now, it doesn't. You should have thought about that before you used their names to lure investors, I reply coldly. I was going to pay it back, he protests, voice cracking. The market turned and. Save it for the judge, I cut in, rising to my feet. That's it? You're just leaving? Panic flares in his voice. I look down at him, seeing not a man but the boy who was given everything and still demanded more. You're pathetic. His mouth drops open in shock. No one, least of all our parents, has ever spoken to him like this. May, wait, he pleads, his voice echoing against the concrete walls as the officer signals for me to leave. We're family. The heavy security door slams shut behind me, cutting off his words. Out in the sunshine, the September air feels alien, too bright after the suffocating fluorescent gloom. In my rental car, I grip the wheel until my knuckles turn white. Only then, shielded by tinted windows, do the tears come. Not for Tyler, but for the little girl who played piano for hours, desperate for her parents' attention. For the teenager who won debate championships to empty chairs. For the law student who crossed the graduation stage alone. These tears burn, not with grief, but with clarity. For the first time, I've stopped trying to earn what should have been freely given. And that, at last, feels like freedom. $175,000 for me, $230,000 for Tyler, despite the fact that he dropped out twice. My first car, a used Corolla worth $2,000. His, a brand new Jeep for $21,000. When it came to housing assistance, I received nothing, not during my divorce, not even after the flood. Tyler, on the other hand, got $60,000 to fund his bar venture, plus 3 separate bailouts when he couldn't make rent. I closed my eyes and drew in the musty air of the attic, steadying myself. Then, with deliberate care, I gathered the most damning documents and started down the creaking stairs. Halfway, I froze at the sound of voices drifting from the kitchen. She's been up there for hours, Mom whispered. Leave her be, Dad answered, his tone rough with certainty. She's always been the strong one. She'll come around. But what if she doesn't help? Richard, we could lose everything. She will. She's never let us down. The words cut deep. Never let them down? They'd never even seen me. I stepped into the kitchen and laid the financial records on the table. I've scheduled someone to meet us at 6 today. Mom's face brightened with relief. Another attorney? A family therapist. Dr. Sanderson. Dad's coffee cup clattered against the saucer. We don't need therapy. We need legal help. You'll get both, I replied firmly. But therapy is non-negotiable. This is ridiculous, Mom snapped. Your brother is facing prison. And you, I said evenly, tapping the documents, are facing the consequences of decades of favoritism. These are my terms. When 6 o'clock arrived, Dr. Sanderson entered, a woman with silver-streaked hair, sharp eyes, and an air of calm authority. I arranged the chairs in a circle beneath the wall of Tyler's photographs. Offering her water, I said, "Thank you for meeting on such short notice." Your situation sounded urgent, she replied, settling into her chair as my parents entered, their faces tight with resistance. Let's begin by discussing family patterns, Dr. Sanderson suggested. Mom jumped in quickly. We're a very close family. Or we were, until May moved to Chicago. I slid the spreadsheet I had prepared into the center of the circle. I've documented the financial disparity between Tyler and me. Dad lifted the paper. What's this? Evidence, I answered, keeping my voice professional, the same tone I use with difficult clients. Over the past 15 years, you've given Tyler approximately $437,000 in financial support. During that same period, I received $8,500. Mom's cheeks flushed crimson. That's not fair. You had scholarships. I worked 3 jobs during law school, I shot back. I lived in a basement apartment with black mold. When my condo flooded 6 months ago, you said you couldn't help with $12,000 for temporary housing. 2 days later, you were on a chartered fishing boat with Tyler, celebrating his business venture with $60,000 of your money. Dad's hands trembled as he stared at the spreadsheet. This isn't just about money, I continued, my voice steady. It's about piano recitals you missed, graduations you left early, achievements you dismissed. We gave Tyler more because he needed it, Mom cried, tears spilling down her cheeks. The room fell silent. I asked quietly, and what about what I needed? For the first time in my life, Dad looked genuinely lost. This is good, Dr. Sanderson said softly, leaning forward. Hard, but good. Let's talk about what each of you needed that you didn't receive. By the end of the session, I outlined my conditions. I would recommend attorneys. I would consult on the case. I would not pay a dime toward Tyler's defense. And therapy would continue for all of us, including Tyler, once he was able to participate. Later, after Dr. Sanderson left, I stood alone in the living room. From my briefcase, I pulled out the childhood piano competition trophy my parents had missed because of Tyler's baseball game. I placed it carefully on the mantel beside Tyler's photographs. It looked small there, almost fragile, but it was a start.